there's no competing. Zion is restored, the holy season. The deep sacrifices, the time of feasting. Yahathol, loose our chains, it's time for releasing. Loose our chains, it's time for releasing. Spices, the time of feasting. Loose our chains, it's time for.
Okay.
Y'all spoke a secret you was elected, now the world stands in wonder. Y'all want me to send a man out of earth, fears from his thunder. We gonna be free, yeah, and praise the Almighty, come on. We gonna be free, yeah, and magnify the Almighty, yeah. Y'all hear the saints calling that they can't breathe, they slain by the wicked police. Yet your garments Zion are beautiful, clothe yourselves in peace, and just dust the dirt off your shoulders. Live the truth and get bolder and bolder. Live in justice and get bolder and bolder. Live in judgment and get bolder and bolder. God's gonna deliver us soon, Babylon is over. I'm headed to the holy city, the holy city. The city of David, the holy city. Heart beyond the holy city. YAH'S is the holy city. I'm headed to the holy city, the holy city. I'm headed to the holy city, the holy city. Letter to Zion.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein, is by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous, Yah is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified all the time. Let me say shalom to my beautiful brothers and sisters that is tuning in once again, another day that the Creator has allowed us to bring to you another program of nothing but the truth. My name is Mowreh IshYAH Yisrael of the House of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 1907 Vine Street. Today's program, we're going to bring to you once again another day. For Yah said he created everything in 6 days. But on the seventh day, he rested. So he told us to rest. And today we're going to deal with the 6th day. Over the course of the last 5 or 6 days, we brought to you the knowledge that the Creator has shared with us on the first day when Yah made the light. And we showed you what Yah ushered in when he made the light. We also discussed with you the second day when Yah made the heavens and what he ushered in that day also. And we discussed in very great detail the third day when Yah gathered all the water together and called them seas. When he let the dry land appear and called it earth. And in the earth, he brought forth every herb-bearing seed, every tree bearing fruit, and all the grass bearing seed. All on the third day. Then the Creator let us know to complete the heavens on the 4th day. He said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to get light upon the earth, and let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. And let them separate the day from the night, to rule over the day, and to rule over the night, and to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And we brought to you what the 4th represents, according to Yah. And then yesterday we dealt with the 5th. The 5th day. The very first thing that Yah himself blessed. And that was on the 5th day when the Almighty let you know that on the 5th day, he said, let the waters swarm or abundantly be filled with fish of the sea, and let the winged fowl fly above in the firmament of heaven. And he blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters, and fill the heavens. And it was so. And we brought to you what this day also represented. Now we're on the 6th day. On the 6th day, the 6th day is another day that is unique, that is peculiar, and different as well. Although the 5th represents Yah's increase and also represents Yah's blessing, because it is the first day that Yahweh made something that he has indeed poured his blessing upon. But on the sixth day, Yah went further than what he did, even on the fifth day. And I want you to see this with your own eyes. But before I get right into my presentation on the 6th, I want to remind you, what is all this for? Why are we bringing you the truth that we are? And why are we talking about each particular day? Well, first of all, we started reading in the book of Genesis. The 6 days where Yah had made everything. And the 7th day he rested. So if we desire to know the knowledge of the Most High, and let me show you what the Almighty said about his knowledge. And you'll read it in the book of Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, so let us turn there. In the book of Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, I want you to see what the Creator had to say about knowledge. And this is what he says in the 23rd verse. Jeremiah 9 and 23.
Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches.
And there's a lot of reasons why people want to glory in certain accomplishments, certain successes that they might have in life. But he warned us and said, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. And the Almighty don't mind one having glory, and he don't mind one glorying. But he wants you to know what he wants you to glory in. 24th verse.
But let them that glorieth glory in this.
Let him glory in this.
That he understandeth and knoweth me.
He understand and knoweth me.
That I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahweh.
Yeah, these are the things that Yah himself said he delight in. Exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. And once you begin to learn Yah's order, because everything to everything, there is a season, a time to every purpose under heaven. And so if you really want to know why Yah doing what he do, if you really want to see his love, his loving kindness, his judgment and righteousness that he wrought in the earth, then the knowledge that we're bringing to you now is exactly the knowledge you want to glory in, because this is about Yahweh's loving kindness, his judgment, and his righteousness that he has done in the earth. And I can assure you, you will glory in that, because you'll see how beautiful, how awesome, how perfect, how magnificent Yah really is. And oftentimes, when you don't see purpose in things, it's hard to glory in something. It's hard to be excited about it. It's hard to even value it, because you don't see purpose. And we want you to see purpose, because to every purpose there's a time. And once you begin to learn time, you will know purpose. And that's what we're teaching you today. And we're going to be dealing with the 6. But I want to remind everyone, who is this Yah that we supposed to glory in? Well, Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein. Yahweh is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yisrael. Yahweh is our only Savior, our only King, our only lawgiver, not only for Israel, but the world. That's who Yahweh is. And so we're going to go back to the beginning where it all started. In the book of Genesis, the first chapter, so you can see what Yahweh had decided and determined that he would do on the sixth day. So let us go to Genesis, the first chapter. In the book of Genesis, the sixth chapter, we're going to start at the 24th verse.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 24. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good.
And it was very good for Yah. He saw that it was good, that everything had to be after his own kind. And it makes total sense to me that all the living creature was after their kind. And why? Not just the living creature after his kind, the cattle after his kind, the creeping thing after his kind, as well as the beasts of the earth after his kind. And not only them, he repeated it. So the beasts of the earth after his kind, the cattle after his kind, every creeping thing upon the earth after his kind. And he saw that it was good. And I can understand that because of what is a kind. Well, a kind is just a family of a certain type of species. And these certain types of species are family members. They have everything in common. They grow together. They live together. They dwell together. They migrate together. They do everything together. And he wanted families on the earth, not only with mankind, but also with the beasts, the creeping things, as well as the cattle. The only people that have the tendency to go against the very nature of what Yah had done in the beginning is man. And we're going to get into that one day so you can see that he gave us the greatest responsibility in the greatest position on earth, which require us to be the greatest species in our ideals and conduct and behavior. So we have a lot of things to get straight. But listen, Yah said he will make the crooked things straight. And so this is what we're looking for him to do. And this is probably what we're doing today. So you can understand what the Almighty did on this sixth day. So you can see how relevant, how consistent, how perfect, how magnificent Yahweh is. Watch what it says. Continue reading.
And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And Elohim said, Behold, I have given...
And slow down for a second, because I want to review the verse 26, 27, and 28. Because the Almighty definitely let us know a whole lot that he did. After he made the beasts and the living creatures and the cattle and the creeping thing, then he started with man. And he said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now, first of all, he said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, before he even gave them dominion. And we know this thing should not be difficult for us to understand, that the Creator took this time in his infinite wisdom to let us know that he made man in his image and after his likeness, because Yah is our Father. He's our Elohim. So if he wanted something that was above everything else, he made it like him. And that's what he did with us. Now, a lot of people want to insert that this us was some man out of the New Testament called JC. And this is not the truth. The us is the same us the Almighty discussed all through the scriptures. And it's his angels, his heavenly host. And we're going to show you that so you can see that there is no individual that the Almighty will put on or beside or before him in no shape, way, or form. Period. Not man, not an angel, not nothing. He gave us dominion over the whole earth. Well, who you think got dominion over the earth and the heaven? And the heavens of heaven? Well, that's Yahweh. And what we have to concern ourselves with is our portion. And this is our portion. And the Almighty made it crystal clear that we're made after his image, after his likeness. He also made it crystal clear when he said that. If you read that 27th verse again, ISHIYAH, so we can understand what Yah had said.
So Elohim created man in his own image.
Yeah, so Elohim created man in his own image.
In the image of Elohim created he him.
And in the image of Elohim created he him.
Male and female created he them.
And male and female created he them. And it don't take a rocket science to understand who is the creator. It's not a family of people. It's not a man and a wife making something. This is the Most High. And he did all this on the 6th day. But he also did something on the 6th day that he didn't do on the other days. Even on the 5th day. The 5th day you will see where the Most High blessed on the 5th day. But on the 6th day, he not only blessed them, and how did he bless? Everything on the 6th day. And watch what he said on the 6th day, the 28th verse.
And Elohim blessed them.
He blessed them.
And Elohim said unto them, Be fruitful,
yes,
and multiply.
Now, on the 5th day, he told them to be fruitful and to multiply. But he said that on the 5th day also. But watch what he further say on the 6th day.
And replenish the earth, and subdue it.
Now he done added something. He didn't want them to just bless, be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. He wanted them to subdue it also. Go ahead.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea.
And the very fish that he blessed, he said, I want you to rule over them.
And over the fowl of the air.
And the fowl of the air that I bless, I want you to rule over them.
And over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
And every moving thing that I bless and told to be fruitful and multiply, I also want you to rule over them. So they received a double blessing on this sixth day, because not only they had the blessing to be fruitful and multiply, but they also received the blessing of dominion, the blessing of rulership, the blessing of subduing everything in the earth. As I stated before, in this sixth, they received a greater responsibility, double what will happen on the fifth. That's why I said these are two different blessings altogether. And when you get to the seventh day, you're going to see that's an even greater blessing that Yah bestowed upon the earth. But continue reading, 29th verse.
And Elohim said, Behold, I have given you every green herb, every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to every thing that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so.
And this is why we teach that all the green herbs is for food, and that's for us. So we don't eat nothing that does not have the green herb, such as mushrooms, like a lot of other people. We know this is not meat for us. But continue reading, because this 31st verse is going to be real important to understand. And watch what it says.
And Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good.
You notice on all the other days, the Almighty saw that it was good. Of course, on the second day, he didn't see that was good until he completed it. And he completed it on the fourth day. And it's only because the Almighty took 2 days on purpose now to make the heavens. He made the heaven, and then on the fourth day he completed it by putting all the various luminaries and the rest of the hosts in heaven, and then he saw that it was good. But all the other days he saw that it was good. But then as soon as you get to the sixth day, the Creator didn't see that was good. When he saw it, it was very good. Then he said, in the evening and the morning were the sixth day. And let me show you how good this sixth was. Because as I've been bringing to you before, the last 5 or 6 days, that to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. And what the Almighty is teaching us is time. And once you learn time, you learn purpose. So it don't matter if it's the sixth day or the sixth born or the sixth month or the sixth year or the sixth generation. It will mean the same thing. The sixth is the sixth. And you're going to see when Yahweh said he saw everything on this day, he saw that it was very good. And you're going to see the difference between the sixth and all the other days that we read before it. For example, go to the book of Genesis, the 5th chapter, so you can see what I'm telling you is the truth. As I brought to you before, I talked about the various generations of Adam. It says in the very first verse, what do it say?
This is the book of the generations of Adam.
In other words, this is the genealogy. This is the generations. This is the descendants of Adam.
In the day that Elohim created man, in the likeness of Elohim made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them.
And he blessed them.
And called their name Adam.
In the day when they were created. So he blessed Adam. He blessed his wife. So don't let people go around just because Eve, or her Hebrew name Havah, went around and made a mistake and sinned. We got people that sin way more than her, and they call themselves blessed. And we see Yahweh calling them blessed. So don't let the mother of all living be put to shame. Yah, there was a reason why Yah chose her above all to be the mother of all living. And watch this, there were 6 generations that came after her husband. The first generation, you read in the book of Genesis, the 5th chapter, it'll let you know. Just read the 6th verse.
And Seth lived 105 years and begot Enoch.
Because Seth was the first generation after Adam. The second generation, read the 9th verse.
And Enoch lived 90 years and begot Canaan.
Because he was the second. The third generation after Adam in the 12th verse.
And Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahalaleel.
And then in the 15th verse.
And Mahalaleel lived 65 years and begot Yared.
And Mahalaleel was the 4th generation after Adam. And then you read in the 18th verse.
And Yared lived 162 years and begot Enoch.
And Yared was the 5th generation after Adam. And watch this 6th verse. I mean the 21st verse. The 6th generation after Adam.
And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters.
Yeah, it says out of all the descendants that Adam had, not one time did it say anybody walked with Elohim. And that's the goal. That should be the mission. That should be the conclusion of the whole matter. And here it is, the 6th generation. It says, and Enoch walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah. And what does it mean to walk with Elohim? I just want you to see this real quick, because remember what it said about the 6. When Yahweh saw the 6, he said, looked back and saw everything, that it was what? Very good. So he didn't just see that this was good. This was very good. And I can understand why. Because after I read about Enoch, I can understand why this is very good. Because this man walked with Elohim to the extent, well, let the scripture speak for itself. Let us keep reading that. 22nd to the 24th verse.
And Enoch walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch with 365 years. And Enoch walked with Elohim, and he was not.
And he was not.
For Elohim took him.
In other words, he was not found. For Elohim took him. And Elohim didn't take him like take his breath, so his life can be snuffed from him. Elohim didn't take him to be devoured by some beasts that he already had gave him dominion over, because he gave man dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, as well as the beasts of the earth. So we know no dinosaurs ate him, because people believe it was dinosaurs. We know no sharks. He fell in the sea or in the ocean and sharks devoured him. No. Elohim took him. And why? Because what Yah had seen on the 6th, it was very good. So what Yah seen in him was very good, to the extent that Yah took this man with him. And you're going to see through the scriptures men who walk with Elohim and how Yahweh seen him, seen these men, such as Abraham. He told Abraham to walk before me and be thou perfect. And he one of the few men in the scriptures where Yahweh say, Abraham is my friend. Yes, Yah got friends. And Abraham was one of them. And why? Because this was a man that walked with Elohim. Noah walked before Elohim, and he was seen to be righteous in his generation. And so what did Yahweh do? Out of all the people on the earth, Yah chose him and his family and his sons and their wives and Noah's wife to be spared out of all the people on the earth. Why? Because this man walked with Elohim. And this is the example that Yahweh left on record for us to understand how very good the 6 is. Let me show you some more evidence. Because what do the 6 actually mean? The 6 is the time where Yah will send his purpose to command his blessing on man as well as beasts. This is the time where the Almighty had determined, had decided, and had chosen, this is the day I'm gonna do something real, very good. I did something good every day, but I'm gonna do something very good this day to shock everybody, to do something real magnificent. And it's gonna be recorded in the earth. That's why I love our foreparent, our foremother, Leah, because the wisdom that Yah endowed in her helps us, teach us, guide us, and not only knowing time, but also Yahweh's purpose. Go to the book of Genesis, the 30th chapter. And you'll see what I'm telling you is the truth. Genesis 30. We see where Yah had poured and commanded his blessing on the 6th. Not just the 6th day, but look what he did in the 6th generation with Enoch. In Genesis, the 30th chapter, let's start reading at the 17th verse.
And Elohim hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Yaakov the 5th son.
The 5th son, because this was her son, and we know what the 5th represents. It represents Yah's increase. So the 5th is blessed also, but it's not as blessed as the 6th. I want you to see the difference between the 5th and the 6th. Watch what it says.
And Leah said, Elohim hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Yisachar. And Leah conceived again, and bare Yaakov the sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim hath endowed me with a good dowry.
With a good dowry, because a dowry is a blessing of wages won't get in marriage. And she said, Elohim have given me a what? A good dowry.
Now will my husband dwell with me.
Now this thing is so good. Now my husband will dwell with me. If there was any doubt before this time, if there was any reservation before this time, if there was anything in my heart and mind where I thought, there's nothing that I can do to win my husband over, now I know this one, my husband, he's going to dwell with me. And why? Because he has given me a good dowry. Therefore, she called his name what?
I have borne him 6 sons, and she called his name Zebulun.
Zebulun. And afterwards she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. So 6 of the 12 tribes of Israel are for mother. Leah was responsible for. It was only 12, and she got half the 12. Surely she had to be very blessed. Because the 6th, y'all seen that on that 6th day, he looked back and he said, my goodness, this was very good. And all she had to do is look back and see 6 sons, and she said, my goodness, this is very good. Who wouldn't be happy at this point? Well, she was. But not only her. Watch what it lets us know in the book of Exodus 16. Because as I stated before, whether it's the 6th generation, as in the case of Enoch, and everybody know Enoch, or as in a case with Leah's son Zebulun, the 6th born, something very good would take place. Something, and I don't think people really understand what very good really means. Good by itself is like complete. So to be very good, that's something higher than that. Let me show you how good very good is. Very good is when the Almighty take a man to heaven with him. Now, how many times did that happen? You only can read it one other time. That's how very good that is. In other words, typically very good is something that ain't never been done before. And it ain't something that really don't happen a whole lot of times, because it's very good. And I'm about to show you what I'm telling you is the truth. Go to the book of Exodus 16. Because we're talking about the 6th day and what Yah would do on the 6th day. And what did he do? Not only made the beasts of the earth and all the cattle and every creeping thing, but he made man after his own image and after his own likeness. No wonder y'all said when he looked back on this day, it was very good, because he made his own son and daughter. In the book of Exodus 16, I just want you to see what very good is. Starting at the 4th verse. And watch what it says.
Then said Yahweh unto Moshe, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you.
Now, who on the earth had bread rain from heaven? And then the Almighty called this bread from heaven, according to the book of Psalms, angel food. Now, who eat angel food? And angel food is not no angel cake, that some white cake that people done made up and just gave it a name. No, this really came from angels and from heaven. But watch what it says.
And the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them, whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day.
And on the 6th day. Now watch this 6th day, because this is the day that was very good.
That they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily.
See, every day they gathered in this manna. But on the 6th day, they had twice as much. They had twice as much. And why? Because the 6th day, what Yahweh seen on this day, was very good. And he commanded his blessing upon this day. And not just the 6th day, and not just the 6th generation, and not just the 6th born, but look what Yahweh would do. Well, let me just show you one more thing in this Exodus 16th chapter. And you'll read in Exodus 16 the 22nd verse. Start right there.
And it came to pass that on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much.
Yeah, because twice as much came.
Twice as much bread, 2 omers for 1 man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses.
They came to Moses because they remembered that Yah said, look, you just gather a certain amount every day, and then you get rid of this stuff by the morning. Because if you don't get rid of it, it's going to breed worms and stink. 23rd verse.
And he said unto them, This is that which Yahweh hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Shabbat unto Yahweh. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Yeah, you can lay that over. Why? Because it was blessed, and it was very what? Good. So they was able to lay that over. And this is before the Sabbath. So you know it wasn't blessed just because of the Sabbath, because the Sabbath hadn't even came in yet. It was blessed because this is the day that Yah had commanded his blessing upon man and beast. Therefore, on the 6th day, he gave them twice as much. On the 6th day, he even blessed it so that it can even stay over until the next day. This is what the 6 represents. It represents when Yah will command his blessing. But not just the 6th day, not just the 6th generation, not just the 6th born, but watch this. In the book of Leviticus, the 25th chapter. So you can understand what I'm telling you is the truth. That to everything there's a season. And a time to every purpose under heaven. And once you begin to learn time, you will learn purpose. And who don't want to know purpose? Because as a matter of fact, you came in at a certain time. There's a time for you to be born and a time for you to die. And when you die, it has purpose. But also, when you are born, it also has purpose. And this purpose is not from your parents, because they might want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an NBA player, an NFL player, a school teacher. No, your purpose comes from the Most High. And if you know time, you will know your purpose. And that's what we're dealing with. And the more you know time, the more you know purpose, then you will know Yah. And did not Yah say, this is the thing he wants you to glory in? That you know and understand him. This is what he wants you to glory in. And this is what we're teaching you today. In the book of Leviticus, the 25th chapter. This is what it says. So you can see consistently that all I'm going to do, all the Almighty ordained me to do, is to tell you the truth. Watch what this says. In Leviticus, the 25th chapter, starting at the 20th verse.
And if ye shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then will I command my blessing upon you in the 6th year.
Look, I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year. And the only time you will ever see Yahweh command his blessing is the 6th year.
And it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years.
See, that's his blessing. Because on the 6th, that's when Yah looked back and said everything he seen, he saw that it was very good. It wasn't just good, it was very good. And we need to know the difference between something very good and something good. There's a lot of people do good. But then those who do very good are a little bit different. And what Yah is showing you is what made this day, this year, that born, that generation different than anyone else and anything else. Because the 6th is when he will command his blessing. 22nd verse.
And ye shall sow the 8th year, and ye eat yet of the old fruit until the 9th year.
Yeah, you're going to eat. It's so much fruit that you will eat it all the way until the 9th year. Why? Because that's when Yah, he commanded his blessing upon the 6th year. Time and the season, time and purpose, everything under heaven. Because this is the day that Yahweh decided that he will make man after his image and after his likeness. This is the time where Yahweh decided to give man dominion over the fish of the sea, fowl of the air, the beasts of the earth, every creeping thing, all the cattle, and told him to subdue it and have dominion over it. And for that purpose, for that responsibility, you have to be blessed. And not just blessed, you have to be very good. Very good. Because it's a great responsibility. And just to show you, once again, what I'm telling you is the truth. And you're going to see this all through the scriptures, but I just want you to see clearly what makes this day different than all the other days. Show you a few things a lot of people would just even take for granted. No, y'all don't take nothing for granted. Y'all didn't make nothing in vain. Everything y'all see, he purposed. Everything that came into existence and time, it was purposed to do what he designed it to do. And it would never contradict what it was born for. For instance, in the book of Exodus, Exodus, the 26th chapter. Somebody read this and they wouldn't even think twice about it. But not so with Yah. For Yah said, every word of Elohim is pure. Every word. And he is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his word, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. And none of us want to be found that. So therefore, we're going to have to trust him and trust his word. And if you trust his word, then you would see how consistent Yah is. And watch what it says. In the book of Exodus, the 26th chapter, watch what Yah say in the 9th verse, something very simple.
And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle.
Oh, did y'all just read what I read? Let's read it again. We have a lot of people that's designers of various houses and rooms and all kind of things. And look what y'all here to say. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves,
And 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle.
And why is the 6 doubled? Why didn't he just double everything? Well, the 6 doubled is because that's what Yah would do on the 6th. I don't care if it's the 6th curtain, the 6th bowl, the 6th street. I don't care what it is. But once Yah do something on the 6th, you best believe that is the time he's going to command his blessing. This is what he's trying to get you to understand, so you can understand time and purpose. Look what he said in the book of Exodus 28. And start reading at the 10th verse. Now, all these things that we're reading in the tabernacle and things like that, you should already know this stuff is holy. So the curtains we was reading about, they holy anyway. But I just want you to see what these things are purposed for. And it's not going to contradict anything that you already read. So it don't matter if it's the 6th generation, the 6th born, the 6th day, or the 6th year. It don't matter. Or the 6th curtain. It's going to be doubled. And watch what the Almighty had to say. Start at the 8th verse so they can understand what this is.
And the curious girdle of the ephod which is upon it shall be of the same according to the work thereof, even of gold and of blue and of purple and scarlet and fine twined linen.
And we're going to be going over all this stuff in detail so you can understand even all this have meaning, because y'all don't do nothing without purpose. And if he do it with purpose, you already know it's done at a certain time. But continue reading.
And thou shalt make 2 onyx stones, engrave on them the names of the children of Israel.
Now you take these 2 onyx stones, and first of all, where do the onyx come from? The onyx come from a place, a land called Ophir. This land called Ophir was so unique, dedicated, peculiar, that they got some trees from this place that can never be found again. That's how peculiar this place was. I'm going to read to you about these trees. Go ahead.
And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones, engrave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone.
6 of their names on one stone,
and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone, according to their birth.
According to their birth. Matter of fact, we got people, I see pictures all day long, and what they show is the 12 tribes of Israel, and it shows their birth. And I'm just be totally honest and frank with you, I hadn't seen one of them that's correct. They all out of order. All of them. Every one that I seen, none of them are according to the order that Yah give us. None of them. And would not be important, since this is the law, since this is the book of the law. Read that 10th verse again.
6 of their names on one stone.
6 on one stone.
And the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone.
And then the other 6 on the other stone.
According to their birth.
That's the law. That's the law. And did not Yah say he will magnify the law and make it honorable? And why? Because he's well pleased for his righteousness' sake. Yeah, Yah loves his righteousness. And Yah loves order. And he said he will make the crooked thing straight. This is what he's doing. Making the crooked thing straight. Because he's teaching us order. And once we begin to learn order, you will learn time. And once you learn time, you're going to learn purpose. And who don't want to know purpose? Also, look in the book of Exodus 25. Now, he could have just said one big onyx stone and wrote all 12 names on it. But that's not Yahweh. When he said the 6 is double, when he said the 6 is very good, he made 2 onyx stones. Now, instead of you have 1 jewel, you got 2. And then he put 6 names on each one. Well, watch what he do in Exodus 25. And I want you to start reading at the 31st verse.
And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same.
In other words, all this stuff, the whole candlestick and everything pertaining to this candlestick is gold. And watch what happened with these branches.
And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches on the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side.
And then watch what it says about the other 6. Go ahead.
3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in the one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knop and a flower, so in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with knops in their flowers. And there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same.
In other words, 2, 4, what?
6.
6. In other words, all you got to do is get your children to learn this, and let me tell you what they're going to learn. They're going to learn a lot of road problems. And that's one of the most difficult things that our children will have. In other words, they can learn math, but as soon as they start reading word problems, they lose all touch with math because that's not how they taught math. And this is how Yah teach us so that we can understand not only how to read, but not only how to count, but also how to add and the purpose of their values. And keep reading. 36th verse.
Their knops and their branches shall be of the same. All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold.
One beaten work of pure gold. Because why? The 6th he saw that it was very good. Let me just show you one more thing that a lot of people they read it, but they really don't understand what they're reading. In the book of Leviticus, the 24th chapter. So now when you read, when Yah talk about a certain plank and it's being 6 cubits, you're going to understand why 6 cubits and what the 6 represents. In the book of Leviticus 24. And I want you to start reading. Start at the first verse.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil, olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually. Without the veil of the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation shall Aharon order it from evening unto the morning before Yahweh continually. It shall be a statute forever in your generations.
In other words, all night long. See, if even in the morning was the first day, like a lot of people teach, it wouldn't just be at night. This is just at night. Because in the daytime, this don't even cover the day. It's just said unto evening unto morning, which is just all night long. Period. But continue reading.
He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before Yahweh continually.
And we just read about this pure candlestick and what it was supposed to do.
And thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof.
And now, it's not just even the branches. You had 6 branches coming out of this, and you had 6 branches coming out of that. And all these 6 branches, they all represented one thing. And that's the 12 tribes of Israel. But watch what these 12 cakes thereof. 2/10 deal shall be in 1 cake. Go ahead.
And thou shalt set them in 2 rows.
And why 2 rows? Because it's going to let you know why.
6 on a row.
6 on a row.
Upon the pure table before Yahweh.
In other words, 6 on this row, 6 on that row. Why? Because what is the 6? The 6 is when Yah will command his blessing. The 6 is what Yah said was very good. Continue reading.
And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for memorial, even an offering made by fire unto Yah. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before Yahweh continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant.
By everlasting covenant. Go ahead.
And it shall be Aharon and his sons, and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him, of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, by a perpetual statute.
So I can understand why these 2 rows of bread, these 12 cakes, is in one of the most holy places on earth. And that's the tabernacle of Yah. So I can understand that because this was holy. I can understand why the 2 onyx stones, 6 on each stone, was on the breastplates, the shoulders, bearing the 12 tribes of Israel. You only can wear that garment in the holy place. Now I can understand why. Because the 6 was very good. And the only thing that was able to go into this place is something very good. Now I can understand why Enoch was taken up to heaven, and he was not, for Elohim took him. Because the only thing that can go up that far is something that's very good. And I can understand why on the 6th day, Yah rained bread from heaven and gave us angel food. Because the only thing that's coming out of that is something that is very good. And I can understand on that 6th day why Yah told us to gather twice as much and leave it until tomorrow, the Sabbath day. Why? Because the Sabbath is holy. Because it was very good. And look what Yah let us know in Leviticus, the 25th chapter, starting at the very first verse.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yah. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field.
6 years sow your field.
In 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard.
And 6 years prune thy vineyard.
And gather in the fruit thereof.
See, you do this for 6 years. Not only sow in your field, but prune your vineyard. And why? Because in the 6th, that's when Yah will command his blessing. And so in the 6th, the people went to work. And they did twice as much. And in the 6th year, 3 times as much. Because they knew in the 7th year, the land was to what? So they couldn't do this over the course of 3 years. They did it the 6th year, the 7th year, then the 8th year. No, they couldn't work the 7th year. They couldn't even work the land. So they had to do all this in the what? The 6th year. Where they was used to working the land each year by itself. Now the land is producing 3 times as much. So now they have to do 3 times more work. And they had to do it in that 6th. And that 6th year, then they can store it up, lay it up. And now they can just rest and enjoy the next 3 years. Because this, when Yahweh will command his blessing. Of course, you'll have some greedy people like our people have been in the past that we can read in the scriptures where even though the Almighty commanded his blessing in the 6th year and they had fruit for 3 years, they still try to work the land on the 7th year. And these are the things that we must know. But to further show you how great and how magnificent Yah is, and to show you and tell you that what I'm telling you is the truth. Look what the Creator said in the book of Exodus 20. Because I want you to see this and I want you to understand why Yah would say what he said in the book of Exodus 20. And this is what the Most High let us know. In the book of Exodus 20, watch what it says in the 13th verse. And I may add, 13 is the order of what? 6. Brothers and sisters, I can't make this up if I tried. But watch what it says.
Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not murder. You what do that has to do with the 6? Well, who do you think made man? The Almighty didn't give man the authority to just take man and murder him and kill him. No, there are certain laws and statutes and judgments that have to be performed for a man's life to be snuffed from him. You just can't snuff man's life just because he stepped on your shoe, just because you just heard a rumor about him sleeping with your wife, just because you was disrespected, just because he was in a neighborhood he wasn't supposed to be in, just because he was a different color, just because you the police and you think he's under you. No, that don't give you the reason to just snuff somebody's life from him. There's laws to killing people. And Yahweh said, thou shalt not murder. This is why this is the sixth commandment. Because he made man in his image and his likeness. And Yahweh said, I kill and make alive. I wound and heal. So those who think because they had a power to pull the trigger, they had a power to push the knife in your back, they had a power to poison you, or jump off the roof, or put somebody off the bridge, or get drunk and drive a car. Yahweh saying, no, you don't have that power, nor do you have that authority. The only one that has that is Yah himself. And if you desire to know him and to have his knowledge and to serve him and to keep his commandments, then thou shalt not murder. Period. This is what Yahweh wants you to know. Because he made man and he blessed man. He multiplied man and gave man one authority, and that authority is to have dominion over the earth, to rule over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and all the beasts and the cattle that's in the earth, and all the creeping things on the earth. But he did not give man the authority to murder. This is why this is the sixth commandment. And to show you that I'm telling you the truth, go to the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter. In the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter, and watch what the Almighty let Noah know. First verse.
And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth.
And why? Because they had dominion. Go ahead.
And upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea, into your hand are they delivered.
And since they delivered in your hand, there's great responsibility. So you need to know some things before you just start thinking, because they're in your hand and you have dominion, and the fear, the dread of them going to be on you. I want you to know how to treat the creation, the things that I've made, because I made these things for my glory. And watch what Yah said.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood, thereof shall ye not eat.
Don't eat this blood.
And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require.
In other words, if beasts try to take your life, I'm going to require at your hand.
And at the hand of man, and at the hand of...
Or I'm going to require At the hand of every beast will I require it. So Yahweh didn't play with a beast trying to take a man's life. He didn't play that at all. But watch what he said about man's hand. Read that again. And at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man. Read that 5th verse again so people can understand what Yahweh is saying.
And surely your blood of your lives will I require.
I'm going to require the blood of your lives.
At the hand of every beast will I require it.
See, I'm going to require your life. So nothing just can't come and snuff out your life, because I'm going to require it at the hand of every beast. And then he said,
and at the hand of man.
And at the hand of man.
At the hand of every man's
and at the
brother,
hand of every man's brother
will I require the life of man.
I'm going to require the life of man.
Whoso sheddeth man's blood.
Whoso sheddeth man's blood.
By man shall his blood be shed.
Why?
For in the image of Elohim made he man.
So don't think you can just start snuffing life out, because life belongs to me. And when you go and decide to do this thing, I'm going to require the blood at your hand. 7th verse.
And you, be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein.
And multiply therein. And why? Because I saw that what I had done on this great and glorious day, the 6th, that it was very good. And this is the time that I have elected and chosen to bring forth and command my blessing. And I just got a couple other things to show you, and we done. Because I think we made the point. Whether it's the 6th born, the 6th generation, the 6th day, the 6th year. Yah saw it was very good. And Yah thought and decided and determined to command his blessing. I just want to show you one more thing. And it's in the book of Daniel. Let us turn there. Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Daniel, the 2nd chapter. And Daniel was in Babylon, but he was very blessed man. And we're going to get into each man. And he was one that was very blessed. But something happened in the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter. And let me show you what happened, so we can get right into it, because our time is running out. In verse 19.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 19. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven.
He blessed the Elohim of heaven. What was the secret? Well, the secret, the King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. And he had this dream, but the problem was the dream left him as he woke up. So not only couldn't tell nobody the dream, he had nobody interpret the dream. And he didn't have nobody interpret the dream because he couldn't remember the dream. And so when he went to the wise men to let them know, look here, man, I need y'all to interpret this dream. They said, fine, King, tell us the dream. He said, well, I can't tell you because the dream left me. Then they said, well, King, how I'm going to tell you the dream and interpret it, and you can't even tell us the dream. Did not I tell you before, when Yah determined the 6th that he will command us blessing, it will be something that is very good. And this is something very good because he wanted somebody to do something that ain't never been done. except for one man. And watch what it says.
Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of Elohim, forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O Elohim of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter.
Now we know what the king, not only what he dreamed, but we're going to interpret this thing. And we're going to get right down to it in the 31st verse.
Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image.
Now he's just letting him know what he saw.
This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
It was terrible.
This image's head was of fine gold.
Now watch this, because this is the part I want you to really see. Because this image that the king saw show you that this image was something that Yah would command his blessing. And when do he command his blessing? Isn't the 6th? Now watch, the image of the head was of fine gold. And that's gold is a mineral. Some people call it a metal. So we'll just say a metal mineral. And watch this. It was a fine gold, his breast.
And his arms, silver.
So down is gold and silver.
His belly and his thighs, brass.
And that's brass.
His legs of iron.
Legs iron.
And his feet part of iron and part of clay.
And then down his feet is iron. And then the last thing you have is clay. So you got gold, you got silver, you got brass, you got iron, and you got clay. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Iron and clay.
Iron and clay. And you're going to see why this is important. 35th verse.
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
And I'm going to just get right to the last part of this dream. And it's in Daniel, the 3rd chapter, the very first verse. Because when Nebuchadnezzar seen this image, he seen something that he wanted the people to praise and to worship, because he seen this thing as blessed. And watch what it says.
And Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon.
And when you read this whole chapter, you're going to read that this thing that he wanted everybody to worship and bow to, it was 60 cubits high. And 60 is the order of 4. But all you got to do is take 10/6, and you got what? 60. And I'm going to show you what 10 represents, because he's seen this thing as very blessed. And then the breadth, which is the width, the breadth was 6 cubits. So it was real wide. And he wanted everybody to see this image so that they can see how blessed he was. Of course, little did he know this was an abomination to Yah. But even he knew when he made it what the measurements would be, because he learned time and purpose. And this is what we bring to you tonight. What is the 6th? The 6th is when Yahweh will command his blessing. Whether it's the 6th day, the 6th born, the 6th generation. It is what Yah would do, what Yah said when he looked back and when he seen everything. He said, I saw that what I did, it was very good. So today, we praise Yah for his great works, because all we have is this one more day to bring forth to you. Although we're going to bring to you other things, for Yahweh is good, Yahweh is righteous. Until tomorrow, Yahweh love you. And so do I. Shalom.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.